Okay, we're going to look at sine, cosine, and tangent ratios again. So again, if this is the angle that I have, then the longest side again is the hypotenuse. And we use the letter H for hypotenuse. Then we have this angle. The side furthest away from it is known as the opposite side. And we use the letter O. The side that touches it or is closest to it, that's not the hypotenuse, is the adjacent side. And we use the letter A. Then the three ratios. Sine is the relationship of the angle with the opposite divided by the hypotenuse. The cosine ratio is the adjacent divided by the hypotenuse. And the tangent ratio is the angle as its relationship to the opposite divided by the adjacent. So we like to use SOHCAHTOA to help us remember which sides go with which trig ratio. So if I look at triangle 1, here is my angle. This is the hypotenuse. This is opposite, and this is touching it, which is the adjacent. So I look for the ones that have something that matter. So I have the hypotenuse, and I have the opposite. So if I want, I have opposite and hypotenuse. So in SOHCAHTOA, I want the SO, opposite and hypotenuse. So I'm going to write sine theta is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. So then I write sine of 30, opposite is x, hypotenuse is 10. So now I'm going to cross multiply. So this is 1 times x is x, and this is 10 times sine 30. I'm going to take my calculator, and I'm going to plug it into my calculator. So I'm going to do 10 sine, open bracket, 30, close bracket, and I'm going to hit equals, and I get 5. So I get x is equal to 5 meters. Again, depending on your calculator, you may have to do 30 sine times 10 equals to get the answer. Let's look at the next one. So I have the angle 30. This is the hypotenuse. And now that's the opposite, and that's the adjacent. So if I look, I have which two? Let's see here. We have hypotenuse, and we have opposite. So again, I want the sine ratio. So I'm going to say sine theta is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. So I have sine of 30, In this case, the opposite of 10, and the hypotenuse is x. So now I'm looking for something on the bottom. All the other ones we've been doing, we've been looking for something on the top. Doesn't change entirely what I do, though. I'm still going to cross multiply. But now I've got x times sine 30. X is going to still go on the right, and I have 1 times 10. Still don't know what x is because it's being multiplied by 30. It hasn't all by itself right now. It needs to be isolated. So what I can do is I can divide this side by sine 30, and I can divide this side by sine 30. So I'm going to get x equals, well, these two will cancel out, and I'm left with 10 divided by sine 30, and that's what I can put in my calculator. So I can do 10 divided by bracket sine bracket 30 close 2 brackets and equals. And I'm going to get 20. If you have a different calculator, you might have to do 10 divided by 30 sine equals.